Okay, so I was told by a very good friend who loves my singing voice recently and loves the podcast that I did not do a good job of singing whatever Mariah Carey song or Whitney Houston song that I sang last time.
It was All I Want for Christmas Is You.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
Was it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, allegedly, it did not go well. And even my wife was like... Welcome to another episode of Is This for Kids? I am Jonathan Beard of Blevins.
I am Katie, Mrs. Ruby.
And it's almost Christmas! Or maybe it is Christmas when you're listening to this. It could be. If you're listening to a podcast on Christmas about your kids, it's a good thing because you love your kids.
What?
Acceptable. It's acceptable to listen. Don't listen to any other podcast on Christmas. Just spend time with your family. But if you're listening to us on Christmas, that's fine.
Christmas is on a Monday, so.
Because you're trying to help your
Release
kids.
date.
Spoiler alert here. We will be talking about Santa in this episode.
Yes.
Just know that ahead of time in case you're listening in the car, because you may or may not want your kids to hear that I am best friends with Santa Claus and that he has spoiled me my entire life. So
I
don't want your kids to be jealous.
Is not for kids.
I don't want your kids to be jealous, though. But just forewarned, we are talking about the 1994 classic, The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. But before we do that, I have to ask you a very important question.
Very important.
I like the little fun combos we have before we dive into the topic.
I know nobody's ever told us they don't like them, which makes me very happy.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
just
some
think it's
podcasts here that they're
relevant.
like, oh, I hate the banter.
Get to the point.
Yeah, I don't want the point. I want the banter.
It's fun.
All banter all the time.
So, what is your favorite Christmas song of all time? And why is it Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays by NSYNC?
What? It's not.
Oh,
No.
that's weird.
Yeah. Okay. Usually I say God Rest You Merry Gentlemen, but also Oh Holy Night.
Oh, holy night. That one?
Yeah. And the
Like that version?
stars are brightly... No. Always by Bing Crosby.
Oh, okay.
Or like if it's not by Nat King Cole, Bing Crosby. If somebody in the Rat Pack, I'm not interested.
Okay. No, they're
Michael
awesome.
Bublé.
Michael Bublé is great.
I can't say that man's last name without saying it.
Bublé.
Bublé. Michael Bublé.
Mine is NSYNC's Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. It's what a wonderful feeling from the love in the room, from the floor to the ceiling.
That just reminds
It's
me
that
of
time again.
Love Actually, where he's like, if you really love Christmas, come on and let it snow. No?
No, that my song is way better.
No, but it's like, it's the whole premise of the movie is that he's like an aging pop star, and he rewrote one of his famous songs to be a Christmas song just so that he could take the cash grab and run.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then in like the whole thing, they have a boy band that he's up against for the Christmas #1.
So Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
That's a great song too, by the way. I hate that I love that song.
I hate that.
It's so
This
good.
has happened so many times on this podcast now.
Where
Like,
I just start singing?
no, where you sing that song in particular.
Okay, so I was told by a very good friend who loves my singing voice recently and loves the podcast that I did not do a good job of singing whatever Mariah Carey song or Whitney Houston song that I sang last time.
It was All I Want for Christmas Is You.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
Was it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, allegedly, it did not go well. And even my wife was like, I think Jody was like, it's not as bad as you're making it seem, but like, yeah, stick to like notes you can hit. So anyway, 98 Degrees Christmas album, also an absolute banger. I mean, the boy bands, I just think we need better boy bands. Like,
The
where
early
they go?
2000s was wild for you, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
We were
Give me
having a great
give me
time.
more Boys to Men, Casey and JoJo, and then like the stereotypical boys bands as well. Like, where are they? K-pop is
They're-
where they are now.
Yeah, I was going to say they're from Korea.
And that's
100%.
fine. But like,
Yeah.
can we just also get some, get some American boy bands
I was
resurrected,
waiting to
please?
see where you're going with that.
Maybe like, again, why is Boys to Men still the greatest R&B band? Why can't there be another one?
Oh, dear.
Have you heard their rendition of anytime they do the national anthem?
Yes.
No one else should sing the national anthem ever again except for Boys to Men. They should just
Yeah.
fly around and only do that.
I'm sure they would appreciate that, too.
They're so good. Okay, I digress. You know what else is good? Tim Allen's The Santa Claus, 1994, greatest Christmas movie of all time, not particularly close.
Okay, I'm gonna actually back you up on that. It's
Really?
one of my favorite holiday movies, and I'm not sure if it's because like I was just the right age. Like I was 9 when this movie came out. It was. Can I tell you a story about when I saw this movie?
Please.
I am not a person who is afraid to go to movies by myself. I have gone to
Same.
movies by myself my whole life. The first movie I saw by myself was The Santa Claus. And I went to that movie theater at the Conestoga Mall in Grand Island, Nebraska. And the reason I remember it was because I wore a purse for the very first time to that movie. And I was very excited, hoping somebody in my school would see me and think I was so grown up walking around with my purse. I was so proud of myself. It was a very big developmental moment for me.
Okay, can I ask just one question about that?
Yeah.
Is it appropriate to say wear a purse?
Yeah.
Interesting. Never heard that in my life.
I carried it. It was a crossbody purse.
You wore a purse.
It was very 90s, like the meshy type one. Girls will remember it. Like it was made out of like hemp meshed together.
Yeah, and you walked into that theater.
So proud of myself. I used my own money, paid $3 for the movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Inflation.
I think actually it was $2.50 now that I'm thinking about it.
Inflation is a whoop.
Really is. Yeah. Got some jujubes.
Disgusting.
Had a great time.
Popcorn's better.
I don't know why I was into jujubes because I don't like them.
Yeah, that's weird.
do
It's like when I
never-
was every once in a while when I was a kid and I go to the movies, I'd get like Mike and Ike's.
Yeah, why?
It's like, why did I do
Why
that?
were we doing that?
Yeah.
Kids do weird crap.
But if I was eating large popcorn at the age of 10, I'd be twice as heavy as I am now. So
Right.
I'm thankful for it.
I'm glad for you.
But explain the Santa Claus.
Okay.
And why it's the greatest movie.
So the Santa Claus is about Scott Calvin, played by Tim Allen, who is a marketing executive for a toy company, right? Famously for the Do It All For You dolly, which is my favorite weird part of, no, it's not one of my favorite weird parts of this movie. Anyway, so he's a marketing guy for a toy company, and he's also divorced, which is sort of a theme of 90s movies. So the movie takes place on Christmas Eve. The first part of the movie takes place on Christmas Eve when Scott has custody of his son, Charlie. And while Charlie is sleeping, Scott hears Santa Claus on the roof, goes out, yells at him, Santa slips, falls off the roof, and onto the floor, right? Dead as a doornail, nothing bloody, nothing gross. But then all of a sudden, after Charlie comes out, the guy disappears, and it's just the suit. And Scott, at the behest of Charlie, puts on the suit, climbs up, and goes up onto the roof and gets into the sleigh. And hilarity ensues. They deliver all of the presents with them, and then through a strange legal maneuvering, he has accidentally accepted the Santa Claus, meaning in putting on the suit and entering the sleigh, he fell subject to the Santa Claus. He is now Santa, whether he likes it or not. The rest of the movie is him coming to terms with that and getting his affairs in order to move to the North Pole. John, I need you to see this picture that I took of my kids. Hang on, I'm scrolling back here. That's Christmas.
Today, Junior.
It's last Thursday. That's 45 minutes ago.
Hello.
Okay, hang on. It's okay. Here it is. It just took me a minute. Here.
Oh, that is a really nice picture. Instead of like scrolling to show people your favorite pictures, you could just use Soul Tiles.
What's a soul tile?
It allows you to take any picture from your phone and upload it onto a piece of glass that you can then display in your house for anyone to see.
Glass. John, don't you think that's going to break?
No, it's tempered glass, which is vibrant, beautiful, and durable.
Okay, I am so bad at hanging things. Like I can't get it straight.
Let me stop you right there. You know that I am too. My wife does all of that stuff around the house. However, Soul Tiles makes it super easy by giving you an entire direction kit and a level that helps make it super easy that even you could do it.
All right. You almost got me sold on it, but my house is so small. There's probably not sizes that make sense for us.
Scott and Elizabeth thought of everything. You can get 8x8, 8x16, 8x24, whatever size you need. Go to soultiles.com/ITFK. That's how they'll know that we sang.
So I fully admit that this movie is my favorite Christmas movie, and it's because of when I saw it. And it sounds like similar for you too. You're walking to the theater by yourself. You have your purse. It was the first time you had a purse. You're excited.
Important.
Your first movie by yourself. Like everyone remembers their first movie that they went to by themselves. So I'm with you. I have to just say I know that is biased. I'm biased for this movie because of when I saw it. Because I saw it when I was 8 or 9 or 10, and when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is how Santa happens.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to Jody. I was like, hey, we should watch this movie with the kids. And she's like, like, are they ready for that? And I was, isn't it gonna like question their belief in Santa? And I was like, no. It enforced it for me, reinforced it.
This is how
I was
he's
like,
lived for so long.
for years after I saw that movie as a little kid, I was just like, if I ever see him and he dies, I'm putting the suit on. I could be Santa. And like the North Pole, the way it's portrayed, it is exactly how I would have imagined the North Pole. The elves are the sweetest people in the world. They give you hot chocolate whenever you want. They're so kind.
Yes.
And it was just hilarious.
4,000 years to get it right.
4,000 years.
Like 400. I don't remember. It was
all
some
of
amount
it.
of years.
All of like every little detail when I was a kid, I hung on to the magic of it and just remember loving the heck out of the movie. And so I go back to rewatch it for the show because like half expecting to have a Home Alone experience, which we'll talk about.
Oh yeah.
Because I was shocked by Home Alone. We'll get there. And I was thinking, like, there's probably a bunch of horrible references that I didn't get as a kid. There's probably way worse language than I remember. There's going to be a bunch of stuff wrong with this film, and it's going to ruin it for me. And no, it was just perfect still.
Yeah.
It's the perfect movie for kids.
It's a very, very good movie. And like some of the humor elements of it really shaped my humor as an adult. Like for no apparent reason, it really struck me funny when he's talking to his son. He's like, "Those flames are really big, Dad," because he burns the Christmas turkey. "Flames are really big, Dad." And he says, "Yeah, turkey's funny that way." And then just whoosh in the background, it goes back up in flames. And like that type of humor really resonated with me as a kid. And I thought it was so funny. And the dry parts of it were hilarious to me. I really, really enjoyed it. But you're right. There's no swearing, no sex, like literally no swearing. There is not a single, I mean, unless you're going to call stupid a word, but he's like, we shouldn't say stupid, Dad. Like the kid even throws it out there.
There's some potty humor and there's,
I
think there's that one hell.
Yeah. It is so clean, so pure, no nudity. I mean, probably the worst thing you could say about it is that there is a terrible co-parenting relationship going on here. This is a divorced couple that needs a family counselor, and it needs to not be Neil. Okay?
So it's funny, Neil, that whole dynamic as a kid, like, so I think we talked about this in another episode where, like with the episode where we did Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
And I like in Mrs. Doubtfire, I was actively rooting for them to get back together and to save their marriage because like my parents are together. When I started learning that divorce was a thing, my parents would get in an argument, and in my head I was like, oh no, are they going to get divorced? Like I was just actively rooting for my parents my whole life. And in this movie, same thing. I'm just like, oh, she's absolutely going to get back together with Santa Claus. Why wouldn't she?
Why wouldn't
And Neil is a piece of. But then you kind of end up liking Neil.
Well, he didn't get his weenie whistle. You feel bad for him.
You do feel bad for him. Yeah. It was important. But then, spoiler alert, he does get it at the end.
He does.
And it's so adorable. Sweet. And so at the end, I remember being a little bit sad that she didn't become Mrs. Claus. Right?
Yeah.
Is that weird?
Leading to several spinoffs that I'm not gonna stamp with the same approval.
Are you saying? But she doesn't become Mrs. Claus, right?
No. He just finds somebody else.
Right. And it's not the same.
No.
But anyway, it's perfect. I think it's awesome. I think it's absolutely for kids. I don't think you have to worry about it spoiling anything if you're to do with Santa.
Yeah, no, I think you'll be fine. And one of the things that like I really love about it is Christmas has a tendency to be very consumer driven. It's very consumerist. Now, this is not a true meaning of Christmas type movie. Like you're not going to get any deep theological discussions here, but because he's a marketing guy for a toy company, you hear a lot of him coming in when they're talking about how they're going to market the total tank. And he's like, no, Santa would not do that. And how about we make a good toy that doesn't break? That's like, and he's talking about this consumer mentality of throwaway culture that he doesn't want to have. So like, even that, like, it's just so pure. It's so cute and so sweet. And also the jokes are hilarious. He talks about sharing a couple shots of brown liquor with his son, which makes me laugh.
Yeah.
That makes me laugh.
I thought the entire thing was awesome. What age would you say is appropriate for the Santa Claus?
Now I'm worried you're going to get mad at me, but I think that the Santa Claus is appropriate for any kid who will sit through a movie that's not animated. So 7? 6?
So I am with you, and my experience of that is just 8 or 9. So
yeah,
sure. I don't think there's anything wrong with a 5, 6, or 7-year-old watching this.
Yep.
I'm so excited to rewatch it and watch it with my kids. I think they're gonna love it. I'm always very sensitive about like super, super sad stuff because my middle son is just a really overly sensitive kid. We're working on it. He's a great heart. So I was like watching it thinking like, is there a part where he might cry a lot? Probably. Like there's like some moments of sadness when Charlie is sad, and he's the most adorable kid in any movie ever.
Sad
like,
so good.
He does that. So like my kid will probably cry a little bit there, but that's no problem. We'll just be like, hey, it's gonna be okay, and then he'll be okay in a couple of minutes. But like literally the only thing for me even worth mentioning is that.
Yeah.
It could be a little emotional.
It's so cute.
But yeah, awesome. The Santa Claus.
It's on Disney Plus. You'll be able to find it easily. It's available to listen or to watch. You don't have to buy it or anything.
Yeah, well, you have to pay for the subscription.
Well, yeah. Sorry, but if you have the streaming service, otherwise you can buy it for rent on Amazon or whatever.
Yeah,
it's easy to find.
100%.
Yeah.
We want to hear from you. isthisforkids.com. You can find all of our social media, all of the ways to listen and watch the show. Give us your feedback. Let us know what you want to see us review. Yeah. We hope you have the best holiday season.
Such a good holiday. Yeah, there's just so much stuff out there for us to look through, so much media to wade through.
I'm Jonathan Blevins.
I'm Katie Ruby. Let us help you figure out.
Is this for kids?